All right, welcome back, everybody. September is here, and so is. Have you seen this? And I'm the Snark. I am the Incredible Snark. It's not just a lame moniker that the newspapers and stuff gave me. It's also a name I gave myself, which is maybe more important.
That is more important.
And with me, of course, the one and only guy who's watched most of the shows we'll be talking about today, Dave Lees. Dave, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Rob. It's really good to be here talking about some stuff. There are a lot of great shows that are out. There's almost too many shows to talk about.
That,
And the creative Emmys happened. Like this is just a
the
murderer's row
the
of stuff.
night we've all been waiting for, guys. The
Is it the
creative
night?
Emmys.
Is it the night we've been waiting for?
How dare you? How dare you? One thing I always wanted to know is who would win best cinematography for a multicam series, comedy or drama. But we can talk about that in a minute because it's important. It is important. But we'll let people stew. Think, oh, of all the terrific shows that have come on in the last 12 months, which one would be deemed worthy of the cinematography award for a multicam comedy or drama series, and also editing for the same?
What?
We'll see. We'll see in a minute, guys. First, let's talk about maybe what Dave's favorite show to watch week after week, and he never misses it. We're going to talk about quick House of the Dragon news, behind the scenes news, at least behind the scenes news. You don't need to see the episode to know.
Good.
Also, we are also going to file this under the Crave app. I guess sucks up here in Canada. It's not like HBO Max, even though it's supposed to have the same kind of stuff. Sometimes the app is just poor, and that
Yeah.
means one of us can't use it. One of us watches it on his PlayStation, and it only seems to work. But one of us is incredible. Let me just say that right now.
You're saying it.
Okay, Michael Sapochnik stepping down. I guess he said that it took 3 years to get House of the Dragon up and ready for us to stick our eyeballs at every week. On top of all the work he did with Game of Thrones before, I'm figuring he may be a little burnt out from Game of Thrones.
It makes sense, especially with uh, the knowledge that this is not a lot of the same creative team that's working on this worked on the other failed Game of Thrones prequel pilot with
Oh, right. What about
so
Naomi Watts, right?
Naomi Watts and the guy that played Vecna was the other lead.
Oh,
So you got to imagine working on that, which was probably like, years of pre-production, getting casting people like Naomi Watts, and then just to have it swept away, and then be like, okay, but now we're doing House of the Dragon, and to be continually caught up in that, that's going to take a lot out of you, and I can't blame the guy for stepping down. It is always upsetting to see change ups like this so early, though.
yeah, it's surprising. Like, if he didn't like, I'm sure they didn't like put their foot down on his neck and say you're going to be a showrunner for this show. I'm sure, like, he could have just stuck to directing some episodes. You would think, couldn't he?
No, but it's like Peter Jackson in the Hobbit movies or the Lord of the Rings movies, right? Like he did that for 6 years or 9 years, I think, of like pre-production and whatnot, and then by the end of it, he's like, I never want to direct another film ever, and those are some of the most successful films ever. Imagine working on a show, everyone hates the ending. Working on a new show,
Yeah.
it doesn't get picked up, and then you have to do all that stuff over, and then you finally get something going. It's like, all right, I did it. I'm out.
I guess, man. It's not like they went too far or whatever. It's not like they went away from the family tree here to get someone in. And well, I guess they're just there was Sapochnik was the showrunner with Ryan Condal,
Mhm.
and now just Ryan Condal's going to run the show going forward. But they brought in Alan Taylor again. I knew that he worked on Game of Thrones. I knew he was a director as well. Um, I know that he did 7 episodes. I couldn't find out too many he did. I know he did the last 2 of the first series. Like he did the one where spoiler alert, where Ned gets his head cut off. The
Ah,
9th episode, right? Oh boy,
no,
have I ruined this for anybody?
ah.
Ah! And he also did he did the Pentultimate and Ultimate episode of that season. And you did 5 more episodes throughout the next 7 seasons. But he's worked on some great stuff. I was looking. He worked on Sopranos.
Mhm.
He worked on Rome, which was awesome. If you haven't ever seen Rome, that's like the first real HBO kind of mini like a series or whatever that I watched. And it was awesome. And Mad Men, one of my favorite shows ever.
Ooh.
So he has pedigree. He's done some shit. Also, I guess they're doing a series version. I just heard this or read this today. It was the first I've heard about it. They're doing a series version of Interview with the Vampire. And I guess
Yes,
he's
I
involved
saw
in
that.
that. You saw that?
Yes.
But how are they going to top Tom Cruise as Lestat?
You're not.
Role he was born to play.
I do not know how they're going to do that. I found the other episodes that he did. Would you like to know what they are?
Yes, please.
So we did the premiere of season 2.
Oh, is it 3 in a row? He was
and 4 in a row because he also did episode 2 of season 2. So that's
right.
a little bit on the wall, some stuff beyond the wall with John, where he's defecting to the wildlings.
Right.
As well
is he responsible for filming You Know Nothing, Jon Snow?
No, I think that's a little bit later.
Snow.
This is also he directed a lot of the Theon stuff in that.
Mhm.
The Princess of Winterfell, and then he did the final 2. He did episode 7 and episode 10. So he was like their season finale guy for a while,
Okay.
where he did the episodes with Arya when she was hanging out with Tywin.
Nice.
And then and then the episode where you first meet the Faceless Man. The final episode he did, though, was the Snowicide Squad episode of maybe Beyond the Wall, with where all those guys go out to catch a White Walker.
Right. Is that the one where the dragon gets killed? Is that right?
Yeah.
Is he used to killing dragons on screen? Oh boy. Oh gosh. Well, it comes back to life. Reanimated life.
Yeah.
How about that?
You know what? That's a good point. He does have. There's going to be some book spoilers here. There's going to be some dead dragons in season 2 probably.
I don't like to hear it.
Hey, man, there's going to be a lot of dragons. I hear there was a new dragon in this episode.
There was.
Oh.
Yes. And people that I didn't realize could ride dragons can ride dragons, and I thought that was fun. So yes, of the 3 episodes of this new series, this was by far my favorite and has made me excited for the rest of the series. But we will talk about this series in full at some other point. We can talk about it a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can. You know what's going on anyway.
I know what's going on, so I can if you're like, what did you think that scene was cool? I can't be like, yeah, that was cool. Because guys, Crave.
Yeah.
Crave is the HBO Max up here in Canada. Usually pretty solid, pretty affordable streaming service. It's runs pretty well usually.
Mm-hmm.
Not this week. Spent all week trying to watch House of the Dragon, and I'm watching 3 frames a second. I'm like, man, Daemon Targaryen, maybe the slowest character in all of Westeros, because he's just like,
You're not kidding. I like it. It's like a robot.
yeah. And then I would hear voices, and it's like, that's not that character at all.
Yeah.
But
They
yeah.
went really stylistic. It's like, guys, you are not going to believe what we're going to do to this episode.
But yeah, so I haven't seen the episode, but I have read the book. So when we talk about it, Rob, if you have any questions, I can excite me about watching it, and then I can fill in any questions you have.
Okay, first they show the feast or whatever, and I never even put together that Martin hated that he couldn't do a great big feast in those first couple episodes of Game of Thrones. So he got his great big feast here in this episode, and it's fine. But the big thing is the war at the steps, and how goddamn cool Aegon Targaryen turns out to be.
He should just be like 3 years old at this point.
Oh, which one is this one? Which one's the older one? You told you I was bad at the names.
Are you talking about Doctor Who?
Yeah, Doctor Who.
That's Daemon.
Daemon. Okay. They don't rhyme even. Ugh, the worst. So Daemon, yeah, goes and whips friggin' ass at the steps. There's dragon fire. So the sea serpent, his son, it was introduced at this one.
Oh, so, good. I like him.
Yes. Yeah, he was freaking awesome. So I'm pretty sure he's flying a dragon in this. And it turns out like those guys, the Valerians, can fly dragons as well.
Well, do you remember who his wife is?
Yes, of course.
It's so his
the
wife,
queen who never was.
Yeah, so she was a Targaryen. So her kids are Targaryens.
Oh, yes.
But
yes, of course.
But they don't have the last name Targaryen because it goes by the dad's last name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah. So he had a egg in his crib or whatever. Then just because he was a Targaryen growing up as a chick. Okay.
Yeah, and then the Targaryens like to marry the Valerians because they're from old Valeria. So it's like all that. Even though they weren't dragon riders, they have that like magic blood in them. Did they give the name of his dragon? Was it a big white dragon?
I believe so, but I can't remember that. You know, I'm bad with names.
Yeah, it was the Sea Smoke is the name of his dragon.
No, I don't know if they said that. I think they may have given his Valyrian name and not his I think, but I'm not sure. But yes, it was cool. Like, yeah, there was so much bleeding. There was so much bleeding, and what happened to the crab dude was awesome. No, they don't show it. They do show the remnants. God damn, what an isn't just for the scenes at the steps, which I couldn't have given two shits about before. And also, it jumps 3 years again, so it's 3 years into like from the last episode. So if it wasn't for you guys last week telling me how this works, I would have been lost. Because all of a sudden there's a baby and another on the way, and that one's I think is Aegon, right? The baby son, and then yes, the girl, the princess or whatever is
Rhaenyra.
Super pissed at her. Yeah, Rhaenyra super pissed at her mom or her ex best friend / stepmom. So those things aren't good. I think Varys is still trying to be cool and trying to say, no, I said you're gonna be the goddamn queen, so get over it. And then trying to marry her off, and then we meet Jason Lannister. So is he the same kind of person, like just a smug asshole in the book as well?
They don't give him a lot of credit in the books. They mention that he fails to marry Rhaenyra. But he has a twin brother, and the two of them do become important as the Dance of the Dragon progresses, because at this point, House Lannister is not the most. It's not the House Lannister that we know from
Yes.
Game of Thrones.
I believe she mentioned it before or whatever, and she says had to go to Casterly Rock. Like they talk about Casterly Rock, like it's Winnipeg.
Yeah, at the time of Game of Thrones, like the Lannisters are in charge of the whole Westerlands, which is like
Right.
the third biggest area after there's the North and then the Reach, and then the Westerlands. At this point, someone else is in charge of the Westerlands, and they're like the Boltons of the Westerlands right now.
Oh, so good, decent folk.
Good, decent folk. A lot of twins in that family, though.
There's lots of twins in my family.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. 2 sets.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. To be fair, they're also done by 2 brothers named Sean. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, because we also ran out of names, I guess. At least they did it early.
Mm-hmm.
It was I'm not sure how fast or slow it's going for the book though. That Rhaenyra is still unmarried and still unbetrothed. She's still a free agent. And she just ended up killing a boar with her bare hands and had the look of murder on her face, like when she was hanging out with the oh my god, it's Taco, and hanging out with that Dornish guy.
Oh, so Kristen Cole, good.
Sure, yes. Yes, that's all that's happened in this. But yeah, that I really liked the battle at the steps there.
So I should go back and I shouldn't just skip this episode. I should Taco, we are talking House of the Dragon, but because of the terrible streaming services here in Canada, I haven't read it. I've watched it yet.
Yes.
But Rob told me it was a lot of fun.
I'm painting a picture for him. A picture about Hot D.
Yeah. That's what they call it, Hot D. But
nice.
To answer your question about if I feel like it's moving fast or slow based on how based on what me and Taco told you last week, like the book is just like a history textbook. So there are some points where they're just like, and then Daemon Targaryen, he went off and he did this thing. But like, right. So I imagine seeing all this we're going to get more fleshed out. I want to know for you, having not read it, and we had a 6-month time jump in between episode 1 and 2.
And now 3 years.
3-year time jump now.
Yep.
Me and Taco told you last week there is at some point going to be a massive time jump where like the young actresses we have playing them right now. How do you feel? Are you able to keep up with all that?
I appreciated the time jump actually this time. It was, not going through a lot of politicking and stuff like that. We're just going to skip a whole bunch of that. We get it. They're still not enamored with each other, the 2 brothers. In fact, I guess Varys was going to finally send ships, and that's what strung on Doctor Who to say, no, I'm just going to wipe out these guys by myself.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it does quite a good job until he gets kind of surrounded, and then dragons, and then he goes to the cave and then comes back out. Yes, it's incredibly fun. If put into your position as a guy who's read the books, if that battle is worth anything to read, I would highly suggest watching this episode because it's fun.
Yeah, I will definitely be going and checking out, not only because I have to do it because I'm not just going to skip a random episode and go watch episode 4, but because that's just what I have. That's I want to know. And you said that we get to see Sea Smoke in this episode, and that's one of my favorite dragons.
So. I believe so. Yes, it was one that I had never seen before. It wasn't like you also see Dragor. Was it Dragor? Dr. Who's, yeah. Doctor Who's guy whipping around there for a little bit as well. Caraxes. That's a good name. He whips around there for a little bit as well. Oh my god.
Did they actually get? You mentioned they kill a boar, so they actually go out and show some stuff.
Yeah, Rhaenyra kills a boar. I guess they're hunting the white stag, and then they don't get him. They get some other stag who's he's a very nice stag as well, but they're like all holding him and stuff, and he just has to spear him with this thing that Jamie or Jason Lannister gave him. So.
Well, that may no. I think Taco's right. If they do the full hunt and you actually get to see stuff, it's more than they did in Robert Baratheon, where it's like you see them walking through the woods, and the next time you see them, it's like, the next time you see it's like Robert Baratheon got gored by a boar. Oh no! It's like you couldn't see that, eh? Good. That is sea smoke. Yes. Yeah. Good. Well, I will definitely be checking that out. Can I, since I don't have too much more to add to this conversation, unless there's anything big,
go ahead.
Can I ask you something? So we both also this week we watched Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm.
And that came out on Friday. And a couple of weeks ago, I posited the question: is House of the Dragon going to have a problem when Lord of the Rings starts?
Oh, right.
Because Saturday, it's a Friday to Sunday release. And I did find myself, because I wasn't able to watch Lord of the Rings, the 2 episodes, on Friday. I had to watch them Saturday. And then by the time Sunday rolled around, I was like, oh yeah, I guess we gotta watch it. It really made House of the Dragon feel like, I think they're, just to spoil how I feel, I think they're both great shows, but
sure.
it kind of made it feel like an imposition where I was like, I've already seen my fantasy show for the week. Okay. And then Crave was a dick, and it was like, yeah. Oh, you know what? Bezos is probably paying Crave. It's like, hey, slow this down.
Yeah.
Slow this streaming service down.
Come on.
But slow down. You think, and I've spoken to other people who have felt similarly, and I know between the review bombing that's been happening on Amazon and then also the just continued hype for Game of Thrones, I know it's probably not a big deal, but do you see that as an issue? How did you feel watching 2 high fantasy shows in the same week?
I was looking forward to it. I'm all for this. Why not? I can watch more than 2 comedy shows in a week. I can watch, they're only an hour long. It's not like it's 2.5 hours like Stranger Things, those last couple episodes, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's just the first 2 episodes, or is they going to be doing 2 episodes a week for Lord of the Rings?
I would
over a month.
I would imagine they're going to do just 1 a week.
Right.
Now.
So yeah, it'll make it a lot easier in going forward. I watched. I didn't get a chance to watch Lord of the Rings till Sunday night, and watched it with the wife, who's a big Lord of the Rings fan as well. So I found that quite enjoyable. She has no interest in any of the Game of Thrones episodes or House of the Dragon. She's only ever seen 1 episode of Game of Thrones, and it was the Red Wedding. And it kind of threw her off the entire show. Mm-hmm. So so I watched it by myself anyways, and I have Monday mornings off, so I get up and I watch House of the Dragon with my morning coffee. Monday morning is a ritual thing. So yes, I'm expecting to watch Lord of the Rings probably either Friday nights or Sunday nights with the wife, and then I'll always have House of Dragon to myself. So I have 0 problems with it. But I of course, I'm not everybody else and stuff like that. And I'm lucky that I have Monday mornings off where I can take this time just to, a little time to myself in the morning or whatever, and watch whatever I've had to do. I've done that with other shows like Peacemaker, other kind of shows that came out on Sunday and stuff like that. That was my Monday morning ritual.
I will say, just like I think I'm more being devil's advocate, but
how dare you?
2 seconds before Crave decided to take a big old poop all over my streaming, that I did see of it, it was quite the difference where you go from like tra-la-la-la-la, everyone's running around and it's so fun in Lord of the Rings, and like it's a very serious show, like Galadriel and everything is upset and sad. Yeah. But then but it's still like lighter to literally the first thing you see in House of the Dragon this week is like burning and death and someone's getting crucified. And I'm like, these are different fantasy shows.
Your dark is my light comedy. It seems.
Yeah, well, hey, we do different strokes for different folks.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about, like, I don't understand these toxic dum-dums. What the fuck does it make a difference to them if they don't like Lord of the Rings, to get a whole bunch of people together in computer programs and stuff like that just to shit on it? I don't understand it. Like, why does anybody ever try and fucking fuck up anybody else's good time? They were doing this with, like, the DC and the Marvel shit. Why? What's the fucking point? Like, are people so, like, you know, have such a thing against Galadriel or something like that? Like,
Well,
I don't understand. Galadriel fucking kicked ass in the movies. Why wouldn't you want to see her kick more ass? She's got ages worth of asses to kick.
First of all, I don't know that she, like, I don't know that she kicked asses in the movies.
Well, not like with a sword or something like that, but she was fucking awesome. I loved it. I loved it when they went.
Cate Blanchett, fantastic.
Yeah.
And Ben, I think, sums up people could be stupid, and it hurts my head. And it is ridiculous. People are just, I don't know why people feel the need to go on and just review bomb this show, because I really, really like the show.
Yeah.
And it is, and not for a second was I like, oh my goodness, I've never seen a black elf before. This isn't historical. That is I read one review, which was, this isn't historically accurate. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What? They understand it's not real, right? Do they understand this is not real?
They must, but it is ridiculous. And now Amazon's instituting a 72-hour review ban before you can post about stuff.
Yep.
Do you think that's actually going to help?
No.
Because I think we've seen, and I was there beating the drum for Release the Snyder Cut.
Okay.
I wasn't one of those toxic fans who was I just wanted to see the film.
Sure.
But okay, I didn't like the inflection there.
I did a show on it. You can look on the internet. It's called Rob's Midlife Crisis, or Snark's Midlife Crisis, whoever my name is. Yeah, there's a whole show I do about that movie and the other one, the first one and the other one, because I never saw them.
I didn't know that about you guys.
Shit.
This is a Canadian show.
That's right. Yeah. We're more of a melting pot of elves.
I will say it is all that those toxic fans do, though. You put limitations on them, they just get organized. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of people now who have Tuesday morning calendar notifications, which is go talk shit about Lord of the Rings.
Can you imagine having nothing else to do in your fucking life than fucking organize something to shit on what will make other people happy?
Yeah. Also, this has been just
a
banner week. I thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
It was so funny. Can we just talk about that now for a second?
Yes.
Like, we'll get back to Lord of the Rings, because that is something I think we want to spend a little bit more time on. But She-Hulk, I think this was easily my favorite episode. Yeah. I loved it, and I loved the twerking at the end. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, what a great button to all of this.
Is the fucking people pissing on the twerking the people that just saw that one clip of her and didn't watch a fucking single other second of that show?
No, the people tweeting about it are the same people that they made fun of in the middle of the episode with,
that's true.
They took Hulk's manhood away and they gave it to a woman. Hey, I like women and I like superheroes, but make your own superheroes and stuff. It's those same people, which I really like.
Turds.
This is such a smart show, and that was one of the moments that I really connected with. where I was like, oh, this show knows exactly what it is, and I would not be surprised if there's like 3 episodes from now there's an address about like, and then, like pre-planned, they were like, we know people are going to be pissed about the twerking.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to start rewriting and stuff like that. Guys, we have two weeks to get the show in the can. Let's do it. They've just been waiting.
Yeah, but the entire episode, I really liked her having to do her lawyer stuff, and also some great fourth wall breaking moments, I thought.
Yes. Yep.
With don't expect this to be a cameo every week, except for Bruce in the first episode, and Blonsky, and Wong. And I thought there was going to be a beat where she was going to say, and I know you've seen the trailer, Daredevil's coming.
No, I did like that. She did just take a beat though, and then just turn away with her. I thought that was smart.
Remember whose show this is?
Yes. Dennis Bukowski. I think every time I see this guy, I'm going to start laughing. Just that weasel face, everything about it. The fact that he's so smug and he's so sure of himself, that he's so sure that he could snag Megan Thee Stallion, and still wouldn't believe it, or still would only believe that he hooked up with her, even when you're introduced to the is that a light elf? Is that what they call her?
It's a light elf on a diplomatic mission to Asgard. Asgard is not a place, it's a people. Inspiring speeches by Thor are not admissible in court. What a fantastic one. Also, Dennis Bukowski, what was his last name?
Bukowski. Yeah.
So great. And maybe my favorite line he had was when he was on the phone with his lawyer, whose name I cannot remember, but I keep seeing him as
with the beard. Yeah.
He was the best bad guy on Arrow.
The pooping guy.
Yeah, he was so good. And I always get him and the guy from Lucifer confused. And then I'm like, was that the same guy actually? But anyway, when he's on the phone, when Runa comes in and is like, oh, I've actually decided to not do this, it's not a big deal. And then he gets the call from Dennis, who's like, yeah, my Cybertruck got towed. Yeah, I know, your jaw's on the floor. I drive a Cybertruck.
The one in the handicap zone.
So great. I'm worried we're never going to see this character again because he sucks. But I want to just every few episodes, just what legal trouble has he gotten himself into?
Yeah. Well, he's the lawyer. There's got to be more. They're like, I'd love for her to go up against him in court.
She definitely will, because he works for the DA, right?
Yeah, they worked together at the DA. Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun when she eventually gets to go up against him in court.
Now, one thing about this episode, I said, oh shit, Dave's right. We were talking. I don't remember if we were talking before the show or on the show.
Ben,
awesome.
It would not. Maybe like I Am Groot style. For Dennis.
Little shorts.
Yeah, just little 5-minute shorts of his terrible dating life.
I like it. Well, interstitials.
Yeah.
Speaking of little cameos, more cameos, but I don't know if there's a cameo or if they're going to keep coming. But you and I were talking about the Wrecking Crew, and here they are. I don't remember if it was on the show or if it was just before the show we were talking about it. What is the chance of seeing the Wrecking Crew and something like this? And what did you think? I thought they kind of shorted them a little bit, but
shorted them. They are like, some people have been online being like, man, they ruined the Wrecking Crew, and I'm like, who the fuck is the Wrecking Crew? Nobody cares about them. Like, I'm sorry. If your favorite supervillain team is the Wrecking Crew,
no.
I'm sorry. You're a liar.
No.
Like,
It's no one's favorite, but I figure they'd be able to put up a bit more of a fight than they did. But also maybe they had just gotten their powers, maybe. But I think they do get their powers from an enchanted crowbar. I remember that. But the magic
it's
or whatever gets spread out between them somehow.
yeah, and I like the joke about did you rob a Asgardian construction worker? Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Did you catch that the one guy he only had hard hat powers, so he was just he was wearing that hard hat and it had like LEDs on it, and
Okay.
so all he was doing was trying to headbutt her. But then while I was watching it, I was like, "There's no way me and Rob just talked about this," and that was the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
And I turned to my wife and I said, "If one of them's called Thunderball,
Hmm.
then that's the Wrecking Crew." And when they get into the van and they're like, "Thunderball, did you get it?" I'm like, "Go to hell! This guy's name is not Thunderball. It's like Kevin."
Yeah. No shit. Dwayne.
Yeah, but it was after Miss Marvel. I was really hoping for a good villain or like a antagonistic force, like maybe the DA's office or like one big case.
Hmm.
And I hope she's not just like constantly getting mugged by the Wrecking Crew.
No, I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. I think you're going to see him again. Just it'll be more comedy relief for her, kicking the shit out of her, unless they can find something to weaken her skin or whatever enough to get that blood sample. But who are they getting the blood sample for? Are you mind like the kingpin of it all?
I don't think it's Kingpin
No.
because that's a lot for Vinny D to be doing. Like, he was just in Hawkeye. If he had to film scenes for this, he's been filming Echo.
Right.
And I'm like, I know Daredevil's also in these two shows.
That's the only thing I was thinking of is because Daredevil was there, but I'm pretty sure Kingpin is a kingpin of the New York crime scene, right? What the hell would he have anything to do with Los Angeles?
I think they're gonna big up Kingpin to make him a little bit more like widespreading, because we talked about this on our short-lived Agents of North Hawkeye recap episodes back in the day.
It's a mouthful.
Hey man,
The agent.
Agents of North. It was gonna be our. Never mind. Not important.
Very
but
good.
Anyway, I had discussed. I thought, and this was before Kingpin had been introduced into the show, but he was heavily rumored to have been in, and there was all those leaked photos. I said, I bet the overarching villain of all of these shows is going to be Kingpin. He'll be like the Thanos for the Disney Plus series.
Right.
I no longer believe that because of how Hawkeye went. I know he's probably going to get he's going to get his eyes back and stuff, and he's going to have like robot eyes. I would think that this is probably setting up either what is his name from Incredible Hulk? Tim Stern.
Oh, not the mastermind.
No, his character's name is the Leader.
The Leader, yeah.
Who is one of the biggest Hulk villains that they haven't done yet, but they teased at the end of Incredible Hulk. It wasn't. It was Tim Blake Nelson. That's who it is.
Right.
So I would guess it's him, or it's Elaine from Seinfeld is their boss.
What did you think of the Thunderbolt swerves, though? It was him talking about his seven soulmates, and it happens just to be all these seven pen pals of his.
Well, they had set that up in the prior episode, so that is where I thought I was going to go. I thought we were going to get a thing where they didn't know about each other, But I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, he's just got like a cult of abomination now.
It's a good name for a band.
Yeah, which he like at the end of the episode where they're like, and he has to wear an inhibit. First of all, didn't Bruce say in the first episode, was like, it's a one of the kind inhibitor bracelet? I don't know. I can't make one for you, Jed. And then in this episode, they're like, and he has to wear an inhibitor bracelet that will stop him from turning into abomination. And I'm like,
Yeah.
back up. But we have that technology now. Did Bruce leave the blueprints before he went off to Sakaar?
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Ooh. Yep. It's not like Tony's around to build another one. Maybe he left it on the desk or something like that. He's like, guys, I'm not gonna need that. Where I'm going, I don't need this.
But how long before do you think we'll see Abomination as a bad guy?
No.
Or like lose control? Because you got to imagine the only reason you bring Abomination into this show is so that you can use him in the Thunderbolts movie.
Right. And we've seen him lose control in a show before. I think the only way you see him lose control is if he ends up getting poisoned or mesmerized or something like that by one of the bigger higher ups and stuff like that.
You know what? Maybe you were talking about they need to find a way to like break her skin and stuff to get her blood. Maybe the Wrecking Crew like holds his 7 soulmates hostage and is like, you gotta go fight She-Hulk and make her bleed.
They could probably take care of them, no problem.
Yeah,
well, most of them, maybe a couple would escape. There's only 4 of them.
Pretty much. I really did like the moment where she was getting jumped and it's like, oh no, oh wait a minute, and then she just turned into She-Hulk.
Yes,
I really like that moment. Because it is something you would forget about because she's only had it for a little while.
I was talking to someone today, and I just think this is the most comic booky feel, like something that has stayed as true to the comic books as anything we've seen so far from the television stuff. Possibly with the exception of Ms. Marvel, but I didn't read as many comics of hers definitely not when I was growing up.
I would agree with that. Like, especially in terms of like tone and stuff. I think this fits so much of the She-Hulk tone, especially the 90s, 2000s She-Hulk, which is where she starts breaking the fourth wall and becomes a much more of a character.
Yeah.
Like, that's when she joined the Fantastic Four and she did all that stuff. So I would agree. This is probably one of the closer things to the comic. I'm sorry. I'm also kind of tired today. I'm just off my game, Rob. I'm sorry.
How dare you? How dare you, sir? So it's a third of the way done. So we could say the first. Yes, that's exactly it. Third of the way done. So like the first act of the first series basically done now. Mm-hmm. It hasn't really set up much for a second act except for maybe who's trying to get her blood. So I'm still expecting a cameo an episode. I'm gonna go on record to say something like that will happen.
How many episodes do we have left?
9.
There's 9 episodes.
Yeah.
We know Daredevil's showing up at some point. Is he showing up for more than one episode? Like, I don't think we know that. So, like, that takes out 1. So, who else would you want to see show up in this show?
Would you see? Well, I don't know if I'd want to see him, but would you think that Fozzie Nelson shows up?
No, because of what you said about Kingpin. I think he's in New York.
Right. Would Fozzie still be though? He doesn't have his. Does he have his license to practice there anymore? Wouldn't he have to go somewhere?
Oh God, man! I haven't rewatched Daredevil. You're asking a lot of questions.
Yes.
When was season 3 of Daredevil? Like 2018?
Oh, I have no idea anymore. I have no idea anymore.
Yeah, so like it's been a long time. Did they get disbarred? Is that how it ended?
I can't remember. I thought that Kingpin did something or whatever to their license.
But didn't they get it back?
Again, the shows start blurring together.
2008,
But that
October of 2018 is when season 3 happened. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
that doesn't even feel. That's not even that long ago.
It's
That's
4
only
years.
4 years. It
That's-
seems like ages. I guess
Hey,
maybe
man.
when you're getting you're getting a little long in the tooth. 4 years. They seem like 14 these days. Who knows?
I was 22 years old.
I'm almost 22 now. So
Hey, you were just finishing high school when that happened. I'm surprised
that's
it's
true. Yeah,
not more in your head. But
yeah. You know what I really love? TikTok. I'm good at it. I'm a good TikToker.
who?
Yes.
So you want to see? You're predicting, and you want to see a cameo in an episode. Who do you got?
I'm trying to think of some more West Coast Avengers, but really, you're not going to see them because Hercules won't be in.
No.
Vision, definitely not.
Well,
Hawkeye.
You can get White Vision. Like, he's out there.
I guess you could. Yeah. The Scarlet Witch won't be in it. I can almost guarantee you that. Who else was a West Coast Avenger off the top of my head? I don't know.
Oh, what's Tigra? Tigress? Cheetah? The tiger one.
Isn't that from Wonder Woman?
No, that's Cheetah.
Oh yeah, she's spotty. Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, they've got so many lower ranked heroes and villains. This is the show that you put it in. This is the show. It's like you guys never thought you'd see this person. Like maybe Squirrel Girl will show up or something like that. Maybe oh geez. Like I would love if they were managed to fit in some of the Alpha Flight guys, but I don't understand why they'd be.
Oh my god. I would love to see some Alpha. Like let's get Guardian,
Vindicator.
let's get Vindicator. Show me Puck.
Sasquatch.
I would love Sasquatch, but it's a little. Sasquatch would actually fit.
That could happen.
That would.
Wasn't he gamma radiated too? Wasn't he gamma radiated? Just
no, it was a different radiation that got him, but it was he was
radiation.
Trying to do a Hulk because he's friends with Bruce Banner, but he made a Yeti or a Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Alpha Flight's kind of dumb when you say all this stuff out loud.
What?
No, Wonder Man did show up anyway.
But they're doing a Wonder. Are they doing it a show or are they doing it a movie for Wonder Man?
They're doing a show because Ben Kingsley just joined that show.
Right. Who have they said who Wonder Man's gonna be yet?
I think the rumor was Nathan Fillion.
It'd be so good.
But I don't know that that's confirmed.
Be the classic actor to be wonderful to play Wonder Man, the one who can act like a classic actor. So it'd be so good.
Could you imagine if they somehow convinced like George Clooney to be Wonder Man? Just like
want to go back to TV? Yeah, doing what?
First Wonder of all, everyone's on TV. Like just earlier today, Variety was reporting that Henry Cavill and Elizabeth Olsen are in talks for roles in season 2 of House of the Dragon.
What?
Yeah. Well, I think Henry Cavill, he's already over there doing Witcher stuff. So like.
Oh, that's true.
But
would Netflix let him do HBO stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they have I don't think they got him in an exclusive contract.
Oh, and doesn't HBO own Warner Brothers, or vice versa? Warner Brothers own HBO because that's who we get all the Warner Brothers stuff on here in Canada, at least, is HBO. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they would have a problem with it. Well, I guess they're not going to use him as Superman for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. Let him go be a Targaryen.
Yeah,
he'd actually be really
good.
He'd be really good as a Baratheon.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway. Right. Any other thoughts about She-Hulk before we move on to
Rings? Let's talk about the elves and the dwarves and the Harfoots or Harfeet.
I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I was like immediate in the week leading up. Me and the wife watched the extended editions of all the Lord of the Rings movies. We didn't watch the
Ooh.
Hobbits because those are trash.
No kidding.
But I really, really enjoyed these episodes, and it's different for sure. Like this is not Peter Jackson's world, but it has the same DNA in it.
It's what I was worried about. Are we gonna get a cheap knockoff? And it doesn't feel like it at all. It feels like the world, but it doesn't feel like the same tale and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it was a very comfortable world for me to go back into. Like I got it. Like I take a look at it and I get it. But yeah, I'm very excited to know, like just to know like uh, there's so many see, like Gondor isn't even built yet. There's no such thing as Gondor yet. The Numenorians, I guess, are going to be coming here pretty soon. Yeah, it's really fascinating what they can do with this stuff using characters from the Lord of the Rings, and not just like Cimmerillion and all those things. Although I didn't think they could talk about Cimmerillions and stuff like that. I didn't think he had the rights to it, but they talk about the hammer, the guy who fucking built the Similares, like the gems. His hammer's there.
Oh yeah. Yes, they talk about him. I don't, you know what, honestly, especially with the Nordics, I forget the name, something Nordic buying the movie, film, game, book rights to it, to everything. But they don't own Lord of the Rings, but they don't own the shows. And I'm like, I don't even understand who owns this. This is getting back into like when Marvel, it's like, wait a minute, so Marvel doesn't own, and it's like we learned a bad lesson here, guys. And Rob, you were concerned that the Rings of Power was going to look like a cheap knockoff show. Do you know how much it costs per episode?
I would guess by the look of it, I'll say in the neighborhood of north of $90, like more than $100.
Do you have a real guess?
I'd say, how much? I don't know how much it is to do a regular show. Let's say $4 million.
$58 million an episode.
All right.
Straight. Sure. To be fair, now in to like something to compare and contrast here, Stranger Things, the most recent season, $30 million an episode.
It's worth every penny.
So like that is what and I gotta say, this show, it just looks fantastic. Even from the Winter Troll CGI at the beginning.
So cool.
I never had any doubts about where they were. All the cool Force perspective stuff they're doing with the Hardfoots and whoever.
The stranger.
Whoever it is. Because one of three. Well, we don't know. We don't know who it is. It could be Sauron. It could be. You don't think it's Sauron? Why? Or Saruman, sorry.
Maybe Saruman. Maybe.
Yeah, because it can't be Sauron, because Sauron's already been defeated at this point.
Morgoth has been defeated, right?
Yeah.
Has Sauron been defeated?
Sorry, Sauron hasn't been defeated. He's just he ran away because Sauron.
Isn't this one Sauron's a little trickster? Isn't he a little trickster?
Morgoth was like a god, and Sauron was like
his helper.
He was like his Gandalf.
Right.
So and that he betrayed him, and where his shadow fell, that created something. Fuck.
There's a lot to this, guys. There's a lot to this. It's got to explain it a little better in the show.
Yeah, but I would. So I think it's either Saruman Gandalf, or Tom Bombadil.
Fuck me. God damn! If he starts singing, everything every line of dialogue he has, I am going to be upset.
Oh, I'm gonna be so excited if it's Tom Bombadil because
I skip that chapter every time. Every time. You don't need it. It's not needed.
No, but it's not needed. But it's important for the world building here. And the only reason, Ben, that I don't think it's Gandalf is because Gandalf is like, with the exception of Radagast the Brown,
That's
he's
the other
like,
guy I was thinking of was Radagast.
no, there's no
Well, I
way it's
just like
Radagast.
there's one thing with Gandalf talking to moths in the movies, and he's talking to fireflies in this, and then just Radagast just because he's so one with nature. But isn't Gandalf in the books like or in the movie? He is what is he doing? Something about the sacred fire. He is
Yeah, he's the
yeah,
fire wizard.
right.
Like, but
So
he
like,
is
and he's
the
in fire, and it's not burning him.
But he is the. But I think that's just because they're all Maiar, right? Like they're ascended beings. They're a step above people. The only reason I don't think it's Gandalf is nobody was like, oh, there's a big guy who fell from the sky. Oh, it's probably like Saruman. We know Saruman. He's a cool dude at this point.
Ooh. But
I think it's Tom Bombadil. Well, it's got to happen a lot because like there's Saruman, there's Radagast, there's the 3 blue wizards, there's the red wizard. They could be.
Yeah, 100%, Ben. Yeah, twerk away. Like, do whatever you guys want. You have, yeah, twerk away, Ben. Twerk away.
But I think
you got 3. They're in the first age, right? They got
second
3 ages to go. Second age? Oh, it's only a second age. I thought it was the first age.
No, because the first age was like when Morgoth and everything. That was before the.
Oh, okay. So the first age of Middle Earth was when Morgoth got defeated. Then it started the second age.
Yeah, right? And the second age ends with the defeat of Sauron.
Right, and there's no Isildur. There's nothing like that yet.
No.
All right.
But
you see the sword though.
But I think I think it will be Tom Bombadil just because like he's a big nature guy.
Tom Bombadil.
He's a big nature guy, and in the books, he eats snails. And what does this guy do in the first episode? He eats those snails with the hard.
Those are really crunchy snails.
For my Lion King fans out there, crunchy yet satisfying. They're slimy yet satisfying.
True story. I was visiting my friend in Stockholm, Sweden, and we were riding bikes, and it was raining out. So for some reason, there is a shit ton of green snails in Sweden. I don't know what it is, but they covered the path home, and we were in the dark, and all we could hear was crunch splat, crunch splat, crunch splat, crunch splat for 10 minutes. I'll never forget that sound in my life. The horrors I inflicted on a bunch of green snails.
So that does sound horrible. Like there's probably some snails out there who are like, oh, Rob, he comes in the night and he squishes.
Yeah. And the bane of snails.
So we talked about Gandalf, Tom Bombadil, Saruman, whoever that is.
Mm-hmm.
What about everything else that's going on? Because I really like the stuff going on with Elrond visiting his dwarf friend, and
which one is that again?
Oh my god! Don't even. It's the It's the second.
Not episode. Thorin. That's Thorin.
No,
I know
this
that.
Is way before them.
Yeah,
but I like that they are expanding Elrond's character here and tying in stuff that
100%.
Is also the guy that he was hanging out with was named Celebrimbor, who is, if you've ever played the Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War games.
I have, but I was not very good at it.
So Celebrimbor is the ghost in that game. He's the guy whose soul is tied to you.
What?
So that's
really?
That guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So it will be interesting to see if they because they don't have access to a lot of stuff, if they like have merged some of the game lore with this, because that was already taking some liberties with lore, and expanding on some of the stuff that they talked about in the game. I know a lot of it was discussed in the Silmarillion, but still, it's interesting stuff nonetheless.
See, I would have thought he would have been one of the ones that got possessed by the rings, because he wants to build the forge and he keeps talking about power. So I figured he had something to do with the 3 elven rings of power.
So in the game, Celebrimbor is the guy who makes the rings for Sauron, and then Sauron's like, put my evil juices into them, and then I'll give them to everybody.
Okay.
So at some point, keep your eye on Celebrimbor. Like that guy, he's going to turn bad at some point.
He's like Palpatine.
We're in for a betrayal of, and Elrond's going to be all sad about it.
I liked him. Yeah, and I did like the interactions with the dwarves there, who cannot be remembered because of names, and we have gone through this before.
We've got too many fantasy shows to remember names.
Well, yeah, it's not like they're named Pete or anything like that. Like Gary the Troll. His name from now on is Gary.
There's never Kevin the Dwarf.
Oh, I thought there was one named Kevin. Who knows?
It's Kavan.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I like the right up the elevator and stuff like that, where he's talking to him and saying like, yo, what's up? And he says, you've been gone for 20 years. And it's only 20 years. It's like, I lived a whole lifetime. Like, It's like, when he just doesn't realize that, 20 years to an elf is a blink of an eye.
It's one of those things that they can only touch on in the books or in the movies, and because the books are from Frodo's point of view for the most part, it's not something that you can really get into that much. But it must really suck to be friends with elves, because even though, with the exception of like humans, most of the other lineages are like super long lived. Like dwarves do live longer than humans and stuff, but to elves it's like, it's Tuesday and that was a decade. Oh my god. Oh, what happened? And it just doesn't matter. And it must, like, and the hurt on his friend's face, especially after they did that cool rock smashing challenge, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
great. I've definitely been in this situation where I have
smashing rocks.
No, where I've been in a fight with a friend, and
oh boy,
but then like a third party, whether it's like another friend or one of our partners, will come in unaware of the fight situation and just be like, oh, but you're staying for dinner, aren't you? Like, oh, we're just going to proceed like nothing's wrong, and force you to communicate with each other in the way that his wife does, the dwarf's wife does in this, which I related to so much, and I thought was one of the most realistic depictions of friendship that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because you have two guys who both are like so proud that they can't admit that they want to talk to each other.
Here's a question for you. Were you disappointed that the dwarf wife didn't have a beard?
I wanted her sideburns to be more like pronounced. Yeah. But I understand. Like, if you, in this day and age, if you give a dwarf woman a beard, the internet will go crazy and be like, why does the woman have a beard? Oh my god, can't women be women and men be
these
men?
People never watched the movies or read the books or anything, or
a lot of repressed people.
They have beards.
Big bushy beards led to the belief that there are no dwarf women, and dwarfs just pop out of the ground.
Right. Assholes. Yeah. Here's another thing for you. I'm all popping back into my head about things. What did you think of their depiction about going into the West? I thought it looked great, but I never thought that's something I never thought I would ever see. I thought that's only something that I have to imagine what going into the West would be like.
I
I
was
thought I thought it was literally they just go into the West and they go to like another elven city or something like that, or it's just their name for it or whatever. And I never thought you'd see like the like big golden light and the clouds open up and it's all there and stuff.
I was confused as to what was happening.
Hmm.
It was like, to me, it was like we've never talked about it. Did you watch Westworld?
I haven't seen much of it. I've seen a few episodes.
Okay, well, it.
I've seen the movie
I don't know. It's
with Yul Brenner.
takes 80% of that movie to get to the killer robots, which is what we all came to see.
That's true.
But in that show, there's like at some point there's like a big gate that like if the hosts or the robots walk through it, their bodies will fall down and their consciousness will like go into robot heaven. And I thought that's what was happening with the elves as they all like walked toward the light and got to the edge of the boat and stuff. And I was like, what's going? Are they going to just become beings of light? What's happening
Right.
now? So I was a little confused as to what actually was happening.
And they seem all down for it. And it's like, guys, we're doing this.
They're elves.
How would you like to be like the elf servants who are like sucked along with this thing too? It's like, oh, these guys deserve to go in there. We're just here. We have to take our last mortal thing we do is take off someone else's friggin' armor.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to be that elf?
I would not like that, Rob. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not. I was confused about them too. I was like, did they turn the boat around? Like,
ooh, is that an option?
do
It's
they?
like there's a dock on the other side. It's just a really bright light. It's like a lighthouse. And
Yeah.
there's a dock, and then they're allowed to get the hell back over.
Yeah,
Like,
I would be interested to see like a Robot Chicken sketch depicting like what those people do, because it's like, all right, they all ascended to the lands of Valinor. Now it's time to, I guess we just go back. Do we get to ascend? No, not today. Not today, Timothy.
That isn't Valinor in the very beginning where Galadriel's running around in the stream then with the other elves. What town? What city is that? Or
No, that was like that was the elf place of that was Valinor.
So that's Valinor. So they can go back and forth. Well, at least they can go through it once.
Yeah, which by the way, when we spend the first little bit running around with like baby Galadriel and all her elf friends in this magical, beautiful
bunch of jerk elves.
Like, yeah, but it's just all
Elf
this like
brats.
green pastures and it's just so beautiful. And then we see Middle Earth, and the first thing we see is an eagle catching on fire and rolling through the armies of men. I'm like, oh my god, this place is terrible. Turn the boat around.
Yep.
Middle
Just
Earth
like
sucks. Why are we fighting for it? Guys, no, we need to leave right now.
Speaking of, let's leave Middle Earth for a minute. We could keep going on and on and on, but we're 2 episodes in. Still world building, in my opinion. Like there isn't like before we do. That thing that comes out of the ground, I thought it was a goblin, but people are just telling me it might be an orc. What did you think it was? The thing that came out of the house?
So I think it's an
It
orc.
seemed pretty powerful for an orc.
Well, see, so we can rule a couple
Plus
things
it had
out.
a beard.
We know it's not an Uruk because those don't exist yet.
Right.
So we have to imagine that it's just a regular orc in the armies from like one of Sauron's people. And Tolkien talked about this in his later years where he's like, yeah, when I was writing the books, I really didn't delineate too much between what's a goblin, what's an orc. They're all just kind of evil monsters. So I think people are going to say they're orcs, but if
Okay.
we had to compare and contrast to like the other things we've seen in The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, I would think it's a goblin.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought too. Like, and also goblins were deep in the mines of Moria and stuff like that, or was they they're Khazad Dûn, I guess we could
Oh,
call it
look at
now.
this guy. Look at
Oh
this
yeah.
guy. But also, you got to
Uh,
remember the people who he was this one orc or one goblin was attacking was just a mother and her
yeah,
child.
random.
Like that really attractive elf wasn't even there yet.
Yeah,
That guy, he's very pretty.
he has knife. He has knife ears.
He does.
What a jerk that guy was.
I did like that that they went into like, yeah, not everyone just thinks the elves are dope. Like some
Hmm.
people were like, it was better when we were setting eagles on fire and orcs were around. Because by the time we pick up with them in the trilogy, everyone's like, elves, they're so cool. We love them. Oh, they're
Well,
leaving?
there was an entire, there were armies of mortal men that
Mhm.
fought for Sauron in the
That's
Lord
true.
of the Rings. So does that mean that maybe that's the part of Middle Earth there that these people are in?
No, I think this is just like the wounds of the old war are still fresh. It's like you see this a lot uh in like historical tales or like west or in like Civil War movies and stuff where the this gunslinger comes into town and is like, "Oh yeah, you fought in the war. Wait a minute, you fought for the other side. Well, I guess we're gonna have to just learn how to get along." I think that's kind of what they're doing,
Okay.
where it's like they're using the elves as like the paragon of goodness because they came and they won the war and they freed all these people, and these people are like, we didn't want to be freed, we were fine.
Yeah. Dopes.
Yeah.
Bunch of dopes.
Now there is four, five, four plot lines I think going on at once right now because we got the elf man and his lady investigating some
Yes.
tunnels. We got the
Mhm.
Hardfoot and the stranger.
Yep, the Irish accents.
Yeah, I know. I really like Irish accents. I know a lot of people don't, but I'm a big fan. I love me some Lucky Charms.
How dare you?
We got Elrond wanting to make some shit, and then we got Galadriel on a boat.
Yeah.
Is there one of those that is intriguing you more, or that you want to see continue? Or because for me, it feels a little scattered, and I would like some of these plots to come together. But then I think back to like Game of Thrones, where there were like 6 stories all the time, and I was totally fine with it. So this may just be a thing I need to learn
Yeah.
to live with.
100%. I think that's what's gonna happen, and they did it in the Lord of the Rings as well. That's what the Two Towers were all about, is splitting up the parties. But none of these guys
I
have
guess
actually
that's
come
true.
back together. None of these guys have come together. So
Mhm.
it's. I think this is all just about a bunch of paths that are going to actually merge at some point. Um, to pick one, I don't know. Like, of course, I want to see Galadriel. I'm imagining that man on that boat is a Numenorian because he's on a boat. I think it would be fucking awesome to see it because that's one place we've never seen in the movies. What else?
Oh, I don't think we're gonna go there.
I think we will.
No,
Why
because
won't we?
we gotta get we only got 12 episodes, my dude. We gotta get Galadriel back to Middle Earth.
12 episodes. Is that all they're doing in total? They're just doing 8 or whatever, and then 4.
It might be. Oh no, I might have just misspoke. Rings. I know they're.
Like, I could see that, like if they're going to be doing multiple seasons, then what's the rush?
They are doing 2 seasons, but I
Oh,
guess you're
just 2
right.
seasons. Yeah, I'd love to see.
Uh,
I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. But also, yeah, of course, I want to see who this. I want to know who the stranger is. If it's Gandalf, how many people do you think are going to get upset that it isn't Ian McKellen being Gandalf?
I don't think any, because like people aren't dumb. They know how old is Ian McKellen now, like 90.
Oh, I was gonna say 30. But I have a bad perception of age, though.
Clearly. I would like he's not. I don't think people would be mad because they understand Ian McKellen can't do this. Like Cape Blanchett isn't Galadriel. Like recasting happens all the time.
Would you want somebody who's more or less like not very well known to take on such a iconic role, or would you rather have somebody that has the chops to hold up with it? I would personally, I'm much prefer someone who hasn't been known for doing much else.
Yeah, I would
I'd love
definitely
to,
prefer
yeah,
that.
somewhere you can actually just sink into them being Gandalf.
Yeah, unless you're gonna get like Ian McShane to be Gandalf. Oh man, that was a terrible. Michael Fassbender, yeah, but
I get it.
yeah, that's funny. But okay, okay. I was about to say like, no, I would prefer an unknown. If season 2, if this is Saruman, and then season 2, they're like, and here's my great friend Gandalf, and Michael Fassbender walks out. I'm like, you know what? That's perfect. That's the
stand up and applaud.
I think this is too serious of a show to do that, but that's a great joke that I think could get so many people on board. But I don't think people will be mad because we understand recasting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you change his race or anything, the internet will lose their mind. But they understand replacing one white guy with another white guy
for an imaginary character. Guys, it's an imaginary character. He didn't actually live.
No.
Should I spoil that this isn't? I can tell you about some other books that maybe people didn't exist either. Random books. Geez. But yeah, I'm interested in all 4 storylines. Like, yeah, especially it's new. It's new. This is new.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot of green screening and stuff, and I pay no attention to that. I think, I really liked the look of the elves. I really liked the look of the dwarves, and I really loved what they did with Moria, with the green gardens and stuff like that in there, and the waterfalls and shining the lights and stuff like that. I thought it was awesome. So yeah, I'm all for everything they've done so far. I think if I don't know, I understand why people would whine or want to bitch or try to fucking tear this shit down and not just fucking. If these people just sit back and relax and enjoy it, they fucking have a much better life, I would think. But fuck them. Some people just got to bitch.
Rob, if you don't have anything else to add, I can't think of a better thing to end on than you saying "fuck them" and smoking a cigar. Like that's the greatest button to all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Bastards.
Oh boy.
Dave, are you doing anything else on the internet?
I'm not. I'm a very busy man, but what I will be doing after this show is I will be watching our good. Well, I won't be watching House of the Dragon tonight because I gotta figure that out. Yeah, but it's also late, It's 9:30 here. Ugh. But I will be in half an hour. I will be watching on our good friend Ben's channel, Multiverse of Geekdom. They're doing a Lost podcast where they're going through and they're talking about each episode of Lost. Lost, one of my favorite shows. I will definitely be checking that out. I don't know if I just spoke out of turn and it's not a weekly show, but if it is,
how dare you?
They talked about the
Ben, guess what you're doing? A weekly show.
They talked about the pilot last week, which was a lot of fun, a lot of great takes. So if you like Lost, two very knowledgeable guys talking about it. Ben says it is weekly. That's good. So I'll definitely be checking that out. That's what I'll be doing. I don't have anything to plug, so I'll plug my friends.
Good. You could also, if I'll plug friends. I got friends, not just you.
Yeah, but you have stuff.
Show off. I've been on our friend 50's greatest show in the universe a couple of times, ranking a few things. We were talking about planets on this past week's episode, which was very fun. It turns out there's quite a few planets, so we only did 4, which is good. If you know 50, you probably originally had 200 or 300 or something like that lined up, but
Yeah.
he narrowed it down to 4, and we did it in an hour and a half. Atta boy, 50. You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
You know what I've never watched? Lost.
This
So
will just become a lost show if you.
so
if you start-
I will watch the first couple of episodes of Lost so I can catch up with Ben's show, and then I will watch again the 3rd episode in time for next week, and I can actually maybe tune in and not be spoiled on everything last. Of course, I'm spoiled on the end. I know how it ends. I'm
no,
not a
you don't.
jerk.
I bet you think they were dead the whole time.
Well, that's what they told me.
Those people are idiots.
I listened to the scientist. The scientist said it. So I think so. I didn't really pay attention. There's some guys wearing the guys had mustache. Mustaches mean scientists.
Oh boy.
So we got that, and I do a bunch of stuff over at the LGR network, and especially my soccer podcast Mondays with Adelia called The Starting 11. And for God's sakes, my Chelsea friggin' lost again, and I've been in a shit, terrible, horrible friggin' mood this entire day until I started doing the show with my buddy Dave, and we'll be back here next week. And if Chelsea doesn't do any better, I'm going to want to bring a knife onto the podcast and start stabbing my screen just to feel alive again because Chelsea's robbing me of it. And goddamn, I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah. I will
Shit.
just by the way, speaking of Rob talked about some rankings that he had done. Some people have asked me about when. I keep promising that we're gonna do more northern ranking of the North. Shut up, I'm busy. I'll get to it. I'll get to it when I have time. It takes a lot of time to
best titles, the best titles. Northern Rankings of the North and Agents of the North 2000.
Hey man. Shut up. I don't know. Anyway, I will hopefully by the end of the year we will have at least covered phase one of Marvel and maybe something else. I don't know. It takes a lot of time to put those surveys together and then collect all the data. I'm busy. Anyway.
Boy. Plus, you guys get them wrong.
Yeah, that's not what the science says. Believe scientists, right, Rob?
They had a mustache.
Anyway.
You don't trust a bald-faced scientist. I can tell you that right now.
No. Thank you. Thank you for watching, guys. Like, comment, and share. Oh, I forgot to play